guys, welcome to our channel Set to Ask Weeks. Hope you guys are enjoying learning through our channel's videos, and now we have reached the fourth part of our periodicals, magazines and journal series. So guys, let us start. Spectrum. It's a student-run collaborative undergraduate research journal that is committed to producing thought-provoking, insightful and dynamic interdisciplinary content. This journal represents the individual perspectives of writers and authentically communicate both their academic and creative works to readers. It's an open-minded journal with a focus on connecting readers with all areas of study and new methods of inquiry from the liberal arts to the natural sciences. It publishes diverse and engaging research completed by undergraduate students within and across the areas of health sciences, natural sciences and engineering, social sciences, arts and humanities. Next one is the Ariel, a review of international English literature. It's a quarterly journal published in January, April, July and October. It is devoted to the critical and scholarly study of the new and the established literatures in English around the world in its various manifestations as international English literature, postcolonial literature, Commonwealth literature, new literatures in English and world writing in English. It welcomes particularly articles on the relationships among the new literatures and between the new and the established literatures. It published a limited number of original poems in each issue. It was founded in 1970 and has readers and subscribers in more than 50 countries around the world. Next one is the Diacritics. It was founded in 1971. Diacritics publishes original work in and around critical theory broadly conceived. Diacritics offers a forum for thinking about contradictions without resolution, for following threads of contemporary criticism without embracing any particular school of thought. For diacritics, eclecticism in the humanities means nurturing work that is transhistorical, creative and rigorous. Then comes the Journal of Postcolonial. It publishes multidisciplinary research on postcolonialism, exploring postcolonial literature, politics, economics and history. It is the first journal specifically aimed at publishing work which explores the various facets, that is textual, figural, spatial, historical, political and economic of the colonial encounter and the ways in which this encounter shaped the West and non-West alike. Next one is the Critical Inquiry. It's an interdisciplinary peer-reviewed journal devoted to the best critical thought in arts and humanities, dedicated to provide a wide range of today's critical analysis. Then comes the Radical Teacher. It was founded in 1975. It's a socialist, feminist and anti-racist journal dedicated to the theory and practice of teaching. It serves the community of educators who are working for democratic process, peace and justice. It examines the root causes of inequality and promotes progressive social change. Next one is the Science, a journal of women in culture and society. It's a peer-reviewed feminist academic journal. It was established in 1975 by Jean W. Sachs, who is the head of the journal's division, with Catherine R. Stimson as its first editor-in-chief. It publishes essays examining the lives of women, men and non-binary people around the globe from both historical and contemporary perspectives, as well as theoretical and critical articles addressing process of gendering, sexualization and racialization. Next one is the Obsidian. Since its inception in 1975, Obsidian has evolved into a respected literary journal committed to publishing scholarly articles, fiction, poetry and drama centered on the literatures of Africa and her diaspora. Obsidian's roster of established and newly established writers continues to be impressive. The journal is acknowledged by the National Endowment of the Arts as one of the premier journals dedicated to Africa and African diaspora literatures. Next one is the Callaloo, a journal of African diaspora arts and letters. It's a premier African American and African literary journal. It publishes original works and critical studies of black artists and writers worldwide. It offers a rich mixture of fiction, poetry, plays, critical essays, interviews and visual art from the African diaspora. Next one is the New Accents. It was launched by Methuen in 1977. Structuralism and Semiotics by Hawkes and Terence was the first essay published in the magazine, and it made crucial debates in the critical theory. It remains the clearest introduction to some of the most important topics in modern critical theory. The New Accents volumes are now firmly established as classic texts and are still widely used by students and lecturers. The authors have gone on to become some of the most important figures in their field. This year marks the 25th anniversary of the New Accents publications. To mark this important event, Routledge are reissuing a library edition of all of the volumes from the series, many of which are now out of print and have never before been available in hardback. Next one is the Chrysalis, a magazine of women's culture. It was a feminist publication produced from 1977 to 1980. The self-published magazine was founded by Kirsten Grimstad and Susan Rennie at the Women's Building in downtown Los Angeles. Chrysalis grew from Grimstad and Rennie's editorial work on the self-help resource books, the New Woman Survival Catalog and the New Woman Survival Sourcebook. Chrysalis distinguished itself from other feminist publications through an organic integration of politics, literature, cultural studies, and art. The magazine was produced through a collective process that grew out of the feminist practice of consciousness raising. Unusually broad in scope, Chrysalis did not substitute breadth for quality. Next one is Kunapipi, a journal of postcolonial and Commonwealth literature. Kunapipi is a biannual arts magazine of critical and creative writing with special but not exclusive emphasis on the new literatures written in English. It aims to fulfill the requirements T.S. Eliot believed a journal should have. That is, to introduce work of little-known writers of talent, to provide critical evaluation of the work of living authors, both famous and unknown, and to be truly international. Next one is the Grand Street. It's an American magazine which appeared from 1981 to 2004. The New York Times has called the Grand Street as one of the most reverent literary magazines of the post-war era. Next one is Sargasso, a journal of Caribbean literature, language and culture. It's a peer-reviewed journal of literature, language and culture edited at the University of Puerto Rico, which features critical essays, interviews, book reviews and some poems and short stories. It was published from the University of Puerto Rico at Rio Piedras for more than 20 years, and Sargasso is affiliated with the PhD program in Caribbean Literature and Linguistics in the Department of English of the College of Humanities. Next one is the Vasathi, the International Magazine of Contemporary Writing. It's a literary magazine at the forefront of mapping new landscapes in contemporary international literature today. In over 25 years of publishing, it has continued to provide consistent coverage to Britain's diverse cultural heritage and publish a range of diasporic and migrant writing worldwide. It was first published in 1984 and it has consistently aimed to shift the contours of established literary canons and extend the borders of international contemporary writing, creative imaginative spaces and publishing some of the most promising new literary voice. Next one is the Cultural Critique. It's a quarterly peer-reviewed academic journal that publishes across the fields of cultural studies, literary theory, political science, philosophy and sociology. It was founded in 1985 and is published by the University of Minnesota Press. The journal is currently edited by John Movitt, Cicera Casarino, Simona Sohne and Maggie Henfield. Then comes the Alternative Magazine. It's an international journal of indigenous peoples and is a peer-reviewed interdisciplinary journal. It aims to present indigenous worldviews from native indigenous perspectives. It is dedicated to the analysis and dissemination of native indigenous knowledge that uniquely belongs to cultural, traditional, tribal and aboriginal peoples as well as First Nations from around the world. It spans themes of origins, place, peoples, community, culture, traditional and oral history, heritage, colonialism, power, intervention, development and self-determination. Next one is the 18th century fiction. It's a quarterly peer-reviewed academic journal dedicated to the critical and historical investigation of literature and culture of the period 1660 to 1832. It is published by the University of Toronto Press. Then comes the Public Culture. It's a peer-reviewed interdisciplinary academic journal of cultural studies published 3 times a year, that is in January, May and September by Duke University Press. It is sponsored by the Department of Media, Culture and Communication at New York University. The journal provides a forum for the discussion of the places and occasions where cultural, social and political differences emerge as public phenomena, manifested in everything from highly particular and localized events in popular or folk culture to global advertising, consumption and information networks. It was established in 1988 by anthropologists Carol Breckenridge and Arjun Appadurai, who is a professor of sociology and director of the Institute for Public Knowledge at New York University. Okay guys, that's all for today, and now let us move on to the previous year question paper discussion. The first question is, which two of the following periodicals are devoted to feminist theoretical discussions? 4 options are there: Spectrum, Science, Chrysalis, Transition. Choose the correct answer from the given options. And the correct answer is option 1, Science and Chrysalis. Next question is, in the following list, which 2 journals relate to the field of postcolonial literature? 1. Kunapipi, 2. Interventions, 3. Daedalus, 4. Clio. Choose the correct options. 4 options are given below, and I hope you all know the right answer. Yes, it's option 4, Kunapipi and Interventions, A and B. Next one is, match the following journals with their distinguishing aims and methods of scholarship. The given journals are Obsidian, Clio, Interventions, Sign. The aims and methods of scholarship provided include 1. Literature, history and the philosophy of history. 2. Literature and arts in the African diaspora. 3. Feminist writing. 4. Postcolonial writing. So choose the correct option from those given below. And the correct answer is option 1. That is, Obsidian is associated with literature and arts in the African diaspora. Clio is associated with literature, history and the philosophy of history. Interventions with postcolonial writing, and Science with feminist writing. Okay, so guys, we will be completing the remaining periodicals, magazines and journals in the next video. And friends, there are certain periodicals and magazines which we have discussed not asked in the previous year examinations. And that doesn't mean you can ignore those periodicals and magazines, because it can be expected in the upcoming examinations. So all these 5 parts are very much important, and we have listed out only the relevant periodicals, magazines and journals. So till we see in the next video, bye guys.